So listen, Jesus God Almighty. So listen, I got a kid named.
Hang on, let's bless the podcast. It's wet in there.
Something's wrong with you two. It's horrible.
We're from Florida.
It's horrible. I'm from Florida. What is going on with you guys?
We've done some shit.
So
you can tell we've
this
done
is horrible.
Some shit.
It's horrible. Woo! My eyes are about to start watering.
Mine are watering.
Wow, that was the worst one I ever did.
Did it hit your eyes?
It got me.
Did it get your eyes?
Oh yeah.
That's the worst when it gets your eyes, bro. My eyes were burning for like 2 days after I did it at Bubba's place.
That's a fresh batch.
Don't get it mixed up. It's Russian roulette right here, bud.
Yep. Some people are telling me that I have you on here too much. Is that true?
I mean, I think for every one of those guys, there's 10 guys saying you should have me on here more.
Yeah,
That's probably true.
That's
Even Bubba said that you're on here a little bit too much.
I bet
Of
he did.
course.
I bet he did. Have you heard from him?
Yeah. I talked to him a couple days ago. He was supposed
okay.
to hit up Colby. Did he hit him up?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay, good. I hope it's going to work out. Does it sound like it's going to be...
I don't know. I didn't really ask.
Are you gonna go back on the show or not back? Are you gonna go on the show? Or
Yeah,
not?
has he called you at all?
No, I'm sure.
I heard you when they called you that day.
How was it that one day when we called you live from his studio, when I had him call you?
How? What do you mean?
Well, like you made a whole video about it, right? Like you weren't expecting us to call you. You were live on his radio show and we called you.
It yesterday.
Yeah, I saw the screenshot popped up on my YouTube page, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just me sitting there. Basically, I explain Bubba's situation for people that don't know who he was and who he is and the Hulk Hogan. And then I say, I went on the show. There was an issue. I got a call. And then I said, and then Danny went on a show. And then I said, and they just called me. And then I said, I'm going to play the video. And then I play the video where I'm sitting there going, okay. And we're going back and forth. It was like 38 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah. I mean, 8 minutes was me explaining who he is. Because
I can't believe you fucking outed that doctor.
What was I supposed to say?
What did you say about him?
But think about what was I supposed to say?
So they got
I gave him. I didn't do it.
No, I mean, you're right. He must have not known that you.
Oh,
were
Bubba
gonna
had
say
no
that.
idea.
He had no clue.
Well,
so he never told him in the first place.
No. The guy said, I don't want him on the show again.
Right, and he didn't tell him why.
Who the Diacos?
Yeah. And Bubba just went, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And said, I'll never have him on again. Great, okay.
You think it's really like that? I don't think. Do you think he's really like straight up bitch boy like that, or do you think?
Why are they funding him?
Do you think he's really? They got him by the balls like that? Listen,
prior to, so here's what I didn't say.
I don't think they have him by the balls.
Prior to, that second episode, I had done the first episode. Bubba asked me to, we went out back, we talked for a while. Then he called me several times and he asked me, look, would you consider coming on the podcast? Would you consider helping me with YouTube? And then we'll cut up the videos and I'll give you half of the revenue from all the YouTube that comes in. And I'll bring you on the show. You'll be a regular. We'll come on Tuesdays and Thursdays and I'll give you this much money. And he was pushing hard. I was like, I don't know. Let me think about it. I'm not sure. Because I got Jess the whole time saying, I don't trust this guy. I'm telling you. She's like, he's sleazy. There's something wrong with him. He's burnt every bridge he's ever fucking had if you look into him. So I'm like, I know, but what's the big deal? He's going to pay me. It'll help me. I can start a channel because I didn't really have a channel then. I can start a channel. It'll help me kind of garner subscribers. And so I had this whole conversation. And then I was like, I don't know, Jess, let me think about it. Let me see. I went on the show the next day. That whole thing happened, right? And then as I came, but as soon as I got home, I got the text from Bubba. Boom.
Really?
Hey, sorry, bro. It doesn't look like it's going to work out. Really?
Wow.
And he was like, yeah, not going to work out. And I go, I have a feeling it has something to do with the Diacos. He goes, yeah, bro, it does have something to do with Diacos. I don't want to get into it. Good luck. Like, that's it. Like, this is a guy who's blowing up my text for a week.
Gone.
Diacos said, boom.
Yeah.
He said, yes, sir. And didn't even ask why. Like, let's say there was somebody who said, let's say I was like, hey, Danny, I'm going to have, can I say Ben Mala?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm going to have
He'll beep it out if you can.
I'm going to have so-and-so on my program, right? And you said, and I said, yeah, Danny, I'm going to have him on he's going to come. It's cool. We're going to do like a 2-hour thing. And Danny were to say, yeah, bro, I really don't want you to do that. if I were to say, okay, yeah, that's cool, but you know what I wouldn't do? I wouldn't say, okay, Danny, you're right. You said so. That's good. And never ask why. Unless I basically worked for you. Like if you just said, I said no and it's no. Okay, man. Yeah, bro. Yeah, cool. That's the relationship we would have to have for me to not say why. Yeah. I'll think about it, Danny. We'll talk about it, but why? Yeah. You need to have a good reason. Now, if you had a good reason, okay. But Bubba never asked.
No.
He never asked. He just said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like to me, I don't know about you, but that says something about our relationship.
Yeah.
You know, that one person's 100% in control.
That's weird.
You don't even get to question it.
That's so weird. I just find it hard. I just don't see it. I mean, I understand what you're saying, makes total sense, but I just don't see that dynamic between them. I don't see him answering to somebody like that as far as content. Like, why would they fucking choke him out and stifle any sort of possibility for success by having you on there just because of some personal fucking petty shit like that?
Absolutely petty. Like, and, you know, and this is the thing too. Like I said, if I had been given instructions like, "Hey, bro, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that," but it was never like that. It was like, "Okay, you're sitting down here. You know, we're gonna, you know, okay, you ever seen the show? Not really, not recently, not in 25 years."
So Diacos is like the Peter Thiel of Tampa.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Woo!
It's a nice segue.
Did you watch that documentary?
Oh yeah.
I wish I would have seen
watched
that
it before.
Oh, have you?
I didn't realize I had watched it before. I had watched it, I want to say, a couple years ago, because all of that was very familiar to me. How old is the documentary?
2017.
Okay, so I have watched, because when I was
years.
watching it, I was like, oh wait, didn't this person buy this paper? Oh wait, wasn't he? So I knew I'd seen, as I was watching, I was like, I know I've seen this before for some reason. But yeah, and I knew the whole thing as I was watching it, so I definitely saw it before. I just didn't know how long ago.
What was your take on the whole documentary?
I mean, I know you're...
It was called, by the way, it's called Nobody Speak.
Right.
I wish I would have seen that before I talked to Bubba.
Well, I know your take is, you know, that there's these billionaires behind the scene that are helping, or that are basically stifling free press, right?
Yeah.
So that's part. But you mean, or do you mean just the Hulk Hogan thing?
No. I'm talking about the whole overarching theme of it, not just the Hulk Hogan. The Hulk Hogan thing is great, a great part of it, because it kind of sets it up, and it kind of is like a great kind of like clickbaity thing for the documentary. Like
right.
It makes sense to draw more attention to it.
Right.
And it's kind of like the catalyst which sets it off. But like the overarching theme of these crazy overlord billionaires who are trying to control the free press.
I like that.
Sick, doesn't he? He's got great. It was like, what was the Bozak? What was the dark something of credit card fraud?
Miami's dark lord of credit card.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are just like, anyway. Yeah, I mean, what do I think? You know, it's funny because to me, that's something that, like, you have, you know, special interest groups, right? Like lobbyists and stuff that do that all the time for laws, and it's not illegal. Like what they did wasn't illegal, but they also bought, that one guy who bought the newspaper, it was a small local town newspaper. It wasn't massive. He didn't.
No, I think that was the biggest newspaper in Las Vegas.
It's Las Vegas, though. It's not
Las
like
Vegas is pretty. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
It's not like it's massive, and even so, you didn't buy them all.
That guy's name was Sheldon Adelson,
right?
The richest man in Vegas. He was the richest casino owner in Vegas. He just died last year.
Well, yeah. Then they're back to printing whatever they want.
But he was trying to hide the fact that he bought that newspaper, right?
Yeah. He
did not want anybody to know that.
Yeah, he did a horrible job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have my son-in-law is going to, your son, like, obviously we know that you're involved. You did it.
You have all the money.
Yeah, your son-in-law runs some whatever he ran for him, I'm sure.
The Peter Thiel Gawker thing is Peter Thiel didn't hide from that at all. He was like, yeah, I funded
he came out like the next day.
Yeah.
That's right. He let him know.
I like that.
What did he do?
Yeah.
That's kind of gangster. I like the way Peter Thiel did it, because fuck Gawker. I mean, Gawker was kind of just like, they were just like grenade throwers. You know what I mean? They weren't really like doing any meaningful journalism. They were just doing like tabloid grenade throwing.
They had come out with some stuff before everybody else came, because they required less. There was less scrutiny in their underwriting. in their journalism. Like they didn't require all these different people to verify the story. So they heard about something, they said, sounds credible, run with it, as opposed to someone like the New York Times who's like, we need 2 different sources. We need someone within inside the administration. Like they're not running with just anything. Gawker was running, and on a few occasions, it was a big story.
Right.
Like, oh my God, we blew it first. Yeah, because you have no standards.
Right.
So yeah, they didn't, knocking out Gawker wasn't a big deal. And Gawker, look, as far as your you having a right to privacy, like you do have a right to privacy. Like you're in someone's house and they're videoing you, and then they sell the video. Like I'm not in public, bro. Like you need my permission to video me and sell it. Like you can't just do that. Like I get it if we're in public and you're videoing me. Like we're in public. Everybody can see this. We're in public. You can video me and sell it. That's news. But yeah, this dude's in his house and banging his wife. Like it's a whole nother fucking weird.
And he clearly didn't even know he was being filmed.
Yeah, it's a whole weird issue. And
the crazy part is Bubba only had to pay him $5,000.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
The whole thing,
You know what I really liked about it?
Odd.
The thing about the documentary is they were really kind of dumb. Some parts of it were pretty dumb to me. Like the people they were interviewing were talking about how the lawsuit was structured with Hulk's legal team versus Gawker, and the people that were interviewing the people that worked at Gawker, and they were like, we knew something was really, really fishy and not right when they removed one of the charges for psychological distress, or mental distress. They removed it because Gawker's insurance policy for lawsuits would no longer cover them if that was not part of the lawsuit. So they're like, so this was really weird. Like that's not normal. Of course that's normal in a lawsuit.
Well, because now you
don't want the person you're suing to have money. That's the point. All lawsuits, especially those kind of civil suits, the point of those lawsuits is to fucking run them out of money. Right. Because you're not going to win. It's a pony show.
I think what they were saying was, the way I understood it was, if they did win, the insurance company would pay the verdict. If they removed the insurance company, then Gawker's owners were liable. They could bankrupt the company and they could go after the owners. You see what I'm saying?
That's not what I got from it. What I got from it was that they had a corporate insurance policy that covered the expense of lawsuits like that. So it would pay for
the lawyers and the if they won, and the suit if they are the verdict.
I don't know about the verdict. I don't know how that. I don't know.
See, I took it as the verdict.
Even if they did win, I think even if Gawker did win, I don't think they would have gotten any sort of money from that. I think they just would have won. It would have been a wash. Because they weren't countersuing, right? They were just defending themselves. They weren't the plaintiff.
Yeah, I think they were just defending themselves.
So their insurance policy was just going to cover their legal fees for their lawyers.
Yeah.
And if they removed that part of the lawsuit, then now their insurance company has an out. They don't have to cover their expenses anymore.
See, I was thinking that if they lost, our insurance company would pay whatever the damages were. Like if it was $100 million, then now the insurance company has to pay. And I'm sure there's a cap of $20 million.
It would have.
Right.
It would have.
So to say, hey, I want to have them removed so that they cannot contribute because we want to make sure we hurt Gawker.
Right.
Like that's the way I took it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
it was personal. It was personal.
Yeah.
I don't want your insurance to bail you out. I want to make sure I bankrupt you.
Right, but still you have a way better chance of winning. So if you don't remove that piece of the lawsuit and they have insurance now covering their expenses, you're going to go for a bigger pot of money, but you have a smaller chance of winning because they have unlimited funds now, but
for their lawyers to fight you.
If you remove that little piece of it,
these guys
now they have.
Isn't the guy that owns Gawker, wasn't he worth millions anyway?
Yeah, but how much is he going to pay out of his pocket versus out of an insurance policy? I don't know.
No, you're right. The insurance policy is probably going to pay a lot more. Yeah, because especially if they're liable if they lose, like we're going to dump a bunch of money because if we lose, we're going to get hit for $100 million.
Right, exactly. So now they changes their whole way of thinking. They're fucking on their heels now if they're paying it out of their own pocket. So you're gonna win a smaller amount of money, but you're gonna have a way greater chance of winning that lawsuit because you're gonna fucking run them out of money.
Yeah, they have less less ability to mount a defense. But either way, he ended up winning and got 115 million. If he got 115 million,
he didn't. Bubba even said he's like, when it all shook out after they paid the fees, paid the lawyers, blah blah blah, blah, probably got like 20 or 30.
I mean, 20 or 30. Yeah, it's not bad.
Not a bad day at the office.
Right?
No, that ain't bad.
Yeah, I
and then
he turned around and he sued Cox Media.
That was the bigger one.
Yeah, yeah. Then he sued like
he got like
multiple.
70 out of Cox.
And he sued somebody else and got like 40. He got another 110. Like
who else was it?
I forget the second one that he sued Cox Media and then another company like I don't know who like Warner or ABC or CBS or someone else. He sued them too. Bam, they paid him too. So he's got like that's probably one of the best things that ever happened to him.
Yeah,
that was a big payday.
Yeah, that was a big chunk of
What a life, man. What a roller coaster of a life. He went straight from his divorce where he was like ready to kill himself and blow his brains out to that.
Yeah. Well.
And the FBI sting that was at the Sand Pearl, how they had the FBI sting get set up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nut. This dude lives some of these guys who live these lives that you're just like the average guy, he goes to high school, maybe he goes to college, maybe he just gets some kind of a technical degree, or maybe he just gets into some kind of a field and he kind of stays in that field and he does okay or does really well, whatever. He goes on, he meets a girl and they get married and they have 2 kids and he teaches soccer and he has just like a regular life and they go on vacation. Like that guy listening to someone like Hulk Hogan's life or Bubba's life, or it's like bizarre. They're like, "What? You did what?" Like that. Like 99% of people kind of follow that. I graduated high school. I got a job. I married the girl that I'm in love with. I had kids. So they hear someone like, or even that guy I just told you, the guy we were talking about earlier that I said you should have on the program, the guy Johnny Walker.
Oh,
like you listen to this guy's life and you're like, this is bizarre. Like everything about this guy's life is insane. I mean, you've done things that I would have never done. Yeah. And I'll do some crazy shit. Like, I mean, like it's just like, wow. It's like, how did you think that was acceptable or was going to work? And then it did work. Same thing with like Hulk Hogan. Like I'm going to be a wrestler. Like, well, how did you come up with that? And how did you think you could make money at that? And how did you think, or even Bubba? Well, I kind of like this, and I talked about this, and then I got on the radio. Buddy had a radio show, and I got on the radio show, and this, it's like, how did that work out? Like some of these guys' lives are just fucking insane.
Yeah, Bubba was living large at one point.
Oh, at one point, yeah.
Did you listen to him back then?
Oh, of course.
That was in your heyday too, right?
Here's what's funny. I never mentioned this, and I was thinking about it the other day. I was driving down Fowler one time. This was when I was maybe 20, 21 years old, and there was like a I don't know, it was like a huge SUV, and there was a hot chick who was walking out of like a 7-Eleven or something with some food or something, and there was this big fat guy pumping gas into this huge SUV, and I think it was like when the Escalades had first come out or something when they were really big, and one of my buddies was like, bro, that's Bubba the Love Sponge, that's Bubba. I was like, no, they look at the chick. That's him. He like made a ton of money. They're like, look at that chick. Look at him. I was like, that is Bubba the Love Sponge. Like it had to be him. Like he was dating these women that were phenomenal looking, and he was
porn stars.
Yeah, he was overweight. He's driving this amazing car, and it was like, and then of course I did listen to him. He was always, it's the whole shock jockey.
Yeah. I didn't realize it, but on the documentary they said he burned the Quran.
He threatened to burn.
Oh, he threatened to burn.
They had to ask him not to do it
on the radio.
Yeah, he ran for sheriff.
The CIA?
Huh? Yeah, the CIA had to go through somebody to get to Bubba in order to say, this is a national security issue. We're asking not to do it. Like
that's how big of a fucking deal he was.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and then one time I guess they killed a pig or something. They put him on trial.
That was a big one.
Yeah. What was the other one that he did? Like, he ran for sheriff. One time he ran for sheriff for like Polk or something like that.
Probably.
I forget which county, but yeah, he
probably Polk.
Yeah, I want to say did he legally get his name changed?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so that it would say Bubba the Love Sponge or something like that.
He got it legally changed, right?
Yeah, it's legally Bubba the Love Sponge.
Yeah,
because driver's license.
Right, because when I think it's because when it was on the ballot, he wanted it to say Bubba the Love Sponge. Like nobody's gonna know who. his real
Todd
name.
Clem.
Yeah, nobody's gonna know that.
Close your eyes when you do it.
This is insane. What's wrong with you guys?
Just close your eyes.
Look. What's wrong with you guys?
Sometimes you need a little something extra to just get you going, man.
I need a jar of that in the car sometimes. Driving long distance.
Yeah, that documentary was good. But it was like weird though. Towards the end, they kept talking about like, the media doesn't lie. The press is the CNN. Why would you say such terrible things about CNN? Like CNN is truthful.
They held the media out like they were just above reproach, and they didn't have an agenda.
Right.
And it was just like, come on, man, stop.
Yeah, that part of it kind of lost me.
Yeah, and then they played the music. There was music in the background when they were giving their little speech about how clean and righteous they were. It was just
how
like,
righteous the media is.
Stop it, bro. You had me up until this.
They were showing Brian Stelter. Brian Stelter's the poster child for truth in media.
It was bad. It was ridiculous. And it's so funny too because they were really hammering. Trump was president then, so obviously
they were hammering
away at him, hammering.
Oh, they were shitting on Trump.
Yeah, like he's
Peter
out of
Thiel
touch
for supporting Trump. Peter Thiel is a fucking right wing bigot, even though he's gay. He's a weird dude though. Have you seen the way he walks? He has a very weird gait. Is that the word for it when you walk? Gait.
Yeah, but absolutely. The problem is with all of those guys, Bozak and I were talking about, like, you ever know, like, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, like, Thiel, like...
Musk,
they're all a little
They're
off.
awkward.
Yeah, it's like they're on the spectrum of autism. There's somewhere on that spectrum, there's... Like, you saw how he talked. Thiel, he was very odd.
He might be the weirdest out of all of them.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But I wasn't really aware of that because he's not so much in the spotlight as the other guys are.
Well, yeah, well, I didn't realize it until I saw that video when he started talking and trying to explain something. I was like, oh wow,
there's something there.
Yeah, there's something missing. So, and he does not. He apparently holds grudges. Like, I mean, he's fucking.
Well, imagine if you were him though. Imagine if you were him. You were a billionaire. You had done all this, and then some fucking fly-by-night Gawker website says, you're Matt Cox.
Yeah.
Is Peter Thiel. Matt Cox is gay or something. Matt Cox is totally gay. That was the headline.
Yeah. Is he gay though?
Yeah, he's gay.
He is. Right. Okay. So.
And you hadn't told anyone. Like, it was a secret thing. Only his family and his like close friends knew.
Right.
And then they did that. That would kind of like.
It does. It feels like it's an invasion of. It feels like it's an invasion of my privacy.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's a big thing to out for the first time to put you on public. Spotlight for that.
Yeah, I agree.
I can understand how he held a grudge.
I can, but I can't imagine spending the tens or $20 or $30 million that he spent backing all of these guys.
$4 billion. You could.
Yeah, I guess it's nothing. It's pocket change.
$4 billion is like $200,000 is like $20.
Yeah, you say that, but rich people don't like to lose money.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't get rich because you're okay with losing money. Like,
They're
nobody
all different.
wants to lose. Nobody wants to lose.
They're all different.
Yeah.
Some of them have more risk aversion than others.
Yeah.
Or more, what is it? Immune to risk.
No, risk aversion.
Okay.
Right? That works. Anyway, it was definitely a good documentary.
I don't really know much about him, but I want to learn more about him because he seems like a fucking creepy dude. I just did a podcast with a guy named Barrett Brown, who is a former member of Anonymous.
Oh, okay.
Anonymous, the guys who like they put the mask on their face and they talk about shit.
Yeah,
on the internet they call it politicians and stuff. He wrote a whole thing about Peter Thiel, and he's like studied a lot about Peter Thiel, and he talked about like how his company Palantir is like this facial recognition company. They have AI software that tracks you by your face, by your retinas and stuff like that. And their biggest contract was with In-Q-Tel, the CIA's investment arm.
Right.
So
it said that in the documentary.
Right. And this guy, Barrett Brown, did this like whole crazy deep dive on him and how there's this thing called dark enlightenment that he wrote about.
Okay.
I don't know, very, very like dark shit. He says that he's basically.
Where'd you get this guy?
This guy was recommended to me on Twitter, and he's actually, he can't come to the U.S. right now. He went to prison for 4 years. He went to prison for 4 years for what the fuck did he do? He got fucked by the FBI. The FBI fucked him for 4 years because he wrote for. I think he wrote. He was a journalist for.
Imagine what Teal's going to do to you.
What is Glenn What is Glenn Greenwald's publication called? Anyways, he wrote for that magazine, and or that website, and he wrote some shit and got in trouble because he leaked information on an anonymous thread, an anonymous forum. About some of the information for the employees of a company called HB Gary, which is another intelligence contractor.
Okay.
So like, like the military industrial complex, they will contract private military companies, send them overseas. This is a company that gets contracted by the government for intelligence, similar to Palantir, and it was called HB Gary, and they were like somehow contracted to spy on Americans for something, and they were trying to out those people. And because he outed some people who worked for HB Gary, the FBI sent him to prison. He got fucked for 4 years. He originally got sentenced to 105 years, but he somehow got out after 4 years in Texas. I don't know.
That's a
So
bit.
some kind of what they hit him with some kind of espionage.
Something like that.
Espionage.
Can you pull up Barrett Brown's?
Like what I'm saying? I'm wondering what's the charge.
Yeah,
like
what's the
charge
charge?
is-
We're gonna find out right now. We got Barrett Brown.
It's got to be espionage or something.
Well, espionage is like when a
Charges.
spy steals stuff, right? But so
And
it's got to be
leaks
some
the info.
Yeah, it's something to do with like national security or something.
Oh, okay. So the FBI raided his mom's house, and then they charged his mom because his mom hid one of his laptops. They charged his mom with obstruction or
obstruction
something.
of justice.
Yep. And then he went on his YouTube channel and he said something about, I know this FBI agent who's spying on me right now and tapping my phone lines. If he ever comes around me again, him and his whole family will. You know what?
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's what we're
How
doing.
you threaten the life of an FBI agent.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he
That's
got
a-
threatening
on
a
YouTube.
federal officer, obstruction of justice.
That's what they originally
accessory
nailed him with.
after the fact.
That was bright.
900,000 to Stratfor in restitution. What is Stratfor? Stratfor's another one of those intelligence agencies.
So instead of using the NSA, they just outsource it to
Right.
some other company, like a private NSA.
like Palantir or HB Gary.
That what can get around not spying on Americans,
Right.
Well, they can. We can't do it, but you can do it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like
Let us know what you find.
it's like what was it they'll hire like Blackwater to go and kidnap some guy in another country and then show up on American soil and then call the DEA. Hey, we're at the airport. We have so and so. You've been looking for him. Really? They come and they grab the guy and give him a check for $250,000 and take him away.
Yeah. So this guy was saying that he fucking hates Elon Musk. He goes, everyone thinks Elon Musk is this big shining star. It's going to save the world if he buys Twitter. Let me tell you something. There is no way Elon Musk is not sitting in Peter Thiel's lap, and Peter Thiel is fucking side by side with him when he's trying to buy Twitter. And Peter Thiel's the guy who owns Palantir and is trying to control the fucking world with all this dark conspiracy shit. Basically saying if Elon does buy Twitter, it's basically Peter Thiel owns Twitter, and we're fucked.
So what was this? This was like a Zoom.
Zoom.
type-
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. He's in England right now. And I think he got arrested again in England for saying he had this sign.
His mom again.
No,
Yeah.
pull up Barrett Brown arrest in England. He was in the middle of a riot or like one of those like BLM type riots. And he was holding a giant wooden sign that spray painted said kill cops.
This guy can't learn. Listen,
Yeah,
no
come on,
offense.
man.
Dude, he's got some sort of like complex where he just wants to fucking stir shit up. He wants to throw grenades.
I love these guys who are like, yeah, I think there should be no government, and the government should really. So the other countries that have governments and armies are just going to roll in here, and nobody's going to stop them. Well, we've got our guns. Stop, bro. Come on, you need some government here. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. That's what he had, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. That's
not a great idea.
Not a good one.
No. Especially after just doing
That's him right
time
there.
in the,
Go to the picture of him wearing the tie.
You would think, especially after just doing time in the Fed.
Yeah.
Like, did he do the 4 years in the Fed?
Yeah, he did. He's an interesting fella.
Looks like he's 16.
He does.
In that picture, that was like right when he got out, I think. Or right before he went in, maybe. But if he came back on U.S. soil, he'd get fucked. So that's why he's not here.
Oh, yeah, listen, if they want to get you, they're going to get you. They're going to find something. Everybody's doing something.
Yeah, they're not going to get him when he's in England.
No. Well, I don't know. England's basically like South Carolina, right? I mean, it's basically, they grab him and say, send him over here. They'll probably send him over here.
Well, they still haven't even extradited Julian Assange, have they?
Well, yeah, but he's in Russia.
That's
right.
Edward Snowden.
Oh,
Julian
Snowden.
Assange is in, I think he's in the UK.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. Julian Assange is in an embassy. He's in the UK embassy, I think.
Well, I mean,
And they're trying to extradite him here.
So he's in the United Kingdom embassy in the United Kingdom.
You might need to verify that,
I thought
Jordan.
they got him. No,
Julian
What's the latest on Julian Assange?
I thought
I
they
can't even say
locked
Julian
him up.
Assange. I can't say it.
Assange. This guy also worked closely with Julian Assange. The guy Barrett, he worked really closely with Julian Assange, and
You're gonna get. Listen, I'm just saying.
They're coming.
Peter's watching. Peter's watching.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for free press, but you've got a kid. You need to talk.
Okay.
You know, start passing some of
Australian-
this stuff by your wife.
Julian Assange.
I think he's locked up.
Well, yeah, he's in an embassy, locked up in an embassy, I think. Where is Julian Assange right now?
It says he's confined in Belmarsh, Category A prison.
In London.
And he's probably fighting extradition.
Well, that's 2019. Where is Julian Assange now in 2022? There he is.
What's a Class A prison, man?
like a decent prison, a
I don't
good
know.
one.
It says Class A prison.
I don't know what a class what that would
I
to
would
me.
Type in where is Julian Assange in 2022.
It's the Hilton.
I was gonna say it sounds like it would be a nice prison,
There it is. Now,
like
there
a
you go.
4-star prison.
Assange has been confined
Since
to
2019.
Okay.
So he's still.
Well, that's in the
hanging
UK
out there.
though. I was halfway right.
And they're trying to extradite.
Oh yeah, they're trying hard.
And he's fighting. You know, so one of the problems with extraditing, and I've known a couple of guys that have been extradited from the UK, is that one, if you have to basically go to them and say, look, here's the evidence we have. Like, we've indicted this person. He's a U.S. citizen, or let's say that you have dual citizenship, or you're one of your citizens. In some cases. So he broke the law in the United States. We want to extradite him. Here's the evidence, and we'd like him to come over here and have to face prosecution. The problem is that a lot of times they'll say, okay, well, that makes sense. Like, your evidence looks pretty strong. We get it. You did indict him. Sounds like he may have done this. We'll send him over there. The problem is most of the times when it goes awry is when the U.S. comes and says something like, we want to extradite him, and if he's found guilty, we're going to execute him. They're like, yeah, we're not sending one of our citizens to your country to be executed. So then it's like, okay, well, then we'll take that off the table. Okay, yeah, but if he's found guilty, then he has to get what? Life? Yeah. Yes. So life, based on the evidence that you guys have, we wouldn't give him life for that. So we're also not going to send him there. Damn it. Okay, so you have to start negotiating with them because they're like, our laws are so strict. And I knew one guy that that he had actually come over here. He ran a scam. Like, he was trying to tell us it wasn't a scam. Stop it. It's a scam. Like,
I love how you do that. Stop it.
yeah, it's no, you don't understand. We do. Okay, the moment you start billing people more than they're supposed to be billed for years, and you guys made an extra $500,000 or $1 million. Right. Yeah, but they saw what the bill. Stop. Don't try that shit. Like, you weren't supposed to be billing them the extra $12. You billed them for 5 years, 100,000 people. You guys made X amount of dollars. It was a scam. So, but once it all collapsed, this guy took off. He went to England because he had dual citizenship. So he goes to England. A couple years later, he brings like one of his kids into the embassy to get like, you have to give them like, you have to sign something in the embassy so that they could also be an American, an American. And he went in, and when he went in, they said, hey, by the way, you have a warrant against you from the United States. He was like, what? He said he kind of knew it might have happened, but nobody had ever said anything. It had been years. So they eventually grab him. They let him right back out. And when they let him back out, like he was in custody because he had to call in once a week. Like their custody and our custody is way different. So he was like, I was confined to my house and work and grocery shopping and going, bringing my kids to school.
And the golf course.
Yeah, exactly. It was ridiculous. I was like, you're free. He's like, I know, but they call it big keys. But once a week I had to call. I'm like, but you weren't allowed to leave like England. He's like, well, you could if you called. I was like, what? He's like, well,
wow.
Yeah, it's the they all signed a treaty, right? Whatever the
surrounding
European Union is, like, it's basically their states, right? So anyway, the point is that when they got in front of the judge and they started arguing, they were like, okay, well, these are fraud charges, and we agree you've got some evidence. And they were like, yeah, and this is very serious. He could get 30 years for this. And they were going on, and immediately his lawyer stepped in and went, Your Honor, this is fraud charges for $1 million. They want to give him 30 years. And the judge was like, yeah, well, we're not sending him back there. What are you doing? You're going to give him 30 years? Like
Send him to China.
Like it backfired on him right away.
Yeah.
Like the U.S. was like, yeah, this is serious. And they thought that meant they go, oh, this is serious. You got to go.
Yeah, they thought
Instead, they went, oh, no, we're not sending one of our citizens to get 30 years for something that over here, if he was found guilty, he'd get 18 months. 9 of which he'd be able to do in his living room on an ankle monitor.
Yeah.
Like, no way. So they had to negotiate, and they negotiated like 24 months. And then he flew over there. He flew over to the U.S., went in for 24 months to the low, met me. That's where I heard the story.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's not always, you have to have and it has to be a comparable charge. Like, if they don't have a comparable charge over there, they're like, he did what? He did this and this and this. And they're like, that's not illegal over here.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of countries don't have conspiracy charges. So you're like, no, you don't understand. He did this and this and this, and it's conspiracy. Yeah, but he didn't rob the bank. Yes, but he was in the room when they talked about robbing the bank, and he helped plan it. But he didn't go in the bank. He didn't drive the getaway car. He didn't give them the weapons. He was just in the room talking, saying, oh, yeah, you got to watch out for this. Right. Yeah, it's conspiracy. Yeah, we don't. That's not a thing here. Like, you can be in the room. You can even help out a little bit.
A little bit.
With the planning.
Just not too much.
This is not he didn't pay anything. He didn't make any money just because he was there. Like, to us,
But
you might as well walked in.
But
Yeah.
what would happen to him if he was in China?
Well, in China, they just take them all out back and shoot them in the head.
Execute him.
Yeah. Well, did you see Boziak and I did we did a video where these 2 bank employees this is in the Bank of China. Well, not the Bank of China. It was a bank in China. They basically were the vault managers, and they took cash on hand, and they took some cash. One of them took some cash, went and gambled on the lottery. The problem was he won.
Nice.
He took like $200,000 and he won like $350,000. And I'm sure I have the numbers off, but it wasn't that much. But because he won, he was like,
How much did he win?
He took like $200,000 and he won like $350,000.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
he made like $150,000 and he was able to put the money back.
Right.
So then he thought, I'm going to do this again. But this time he went and talked to the other vault manager and said, look, I say we take, like, I already blew that money. You went through that in a year or so. So let's take $2 or $3 million. With your help, nobody's going to notice the money's gone because you're the other person that kind of counts the money. And he's like, and they were like, okay. So then they also involved these 2 guards because we're going to come in here one night and we're going to remove the money. We're going to buy lottery tickets and we're going to scrape them off. And they literally talked about how they scraped them off until their fingers were bleeding. And
Who was this?
This is these 2 guys. Like, I can't say their names. Like Cheng Tong Tong and
Right.
I don't know. So. But the fact is that the second time they did not win.
Ooh.
I mean like badly. Like they took out like a couple million and they had won back like 40,000. And so what do they do? Like, they, instead of saying, you know what, let's get out of China, this was going back. No.
Do it again.
It was just off. We need to try this again.
I got the wrong tickets.
They get more money. Now there's so much money missing. Like the bank employees are like, listen, there was a big stack of cash here a week ago, and there's a lot less. Now they were spinning them, say, well, sometimes it happens. They come, you know, we were here when they took this, and other banks did this. Like they're trying to do it, but people are getting wise, and so eventually the employees start complaining, and then they call the authorities. The authorities come in. Both these guys take off. They get caught right away. They're tried, convicted, and both of them are taken out back and shot in the head for fraud.
Well,
this is fraud.
That's stealing. That's a little different than fraud, right?
Well, I'm okay.
You robbed a bank, essentially,
in a very nice way. Like you walk. It's not like they held him up. Like they walked out with.
It wasn't armed robbery.
It was like a briefcase. It wasn't like you shot him in the head.
It was like grand theft,
right? And not just that. Like this is like paper money in China. Like you guys can just run some more paper money and fix it, right? Like, I mean, this is not that big of a deal. Like they shot them, both of them. The other two guys got like 3 years. The other two, remember the two guards got like 3 years or something, like literally for just looking the other way. They got like 3 or 4 years in like an internment camp where they go through re-education or something. It's like I didn't do anything. Like they just walked out. It's bad. It's bad. Oh, and by the way,
that's how it needs to be.
Oh my God. So listen, you know it's really.
I think Shane agrees.
You know what's really fucked up?
I don't know if that's how it should be, but I mean, I bet you a lot less people be doing fucked up shit when you're like, hey, fucking Timmy over there got shot, got capped in the head. All he did was walk out with a couple mil real nicely.
Yeah, they can. Exactly. That's rough.
Yeah, that is rough.
Like it didn't even hurt anybody's feelings. Like they didn't come in with guns and zip tie everybody and scare them to death. Like they walked out with them in briefcases.
Right, white collar criminal.
Yeah,
non-violent.
That's kind of blue collar. But look, here's where it really. You know why they should have been shot in the head? They put the money in the lottery tickets. Like
that was dumb.
The stupidity alone,
right? Yeah,
that tells you the mentality of these
two
idiots.
They deserved it for sure.
The problem
could have put it on roulette or something.
The big problem was the guy won the first time.
Yeah, and
like if he lost the first time,
he wouldn't have did that shit again. Now he's trying to scramble $200,000.
And you know what's funny? This is how China is. They said that when one guy took off on the run, he took like a cab ride, like something like 50 miles or 100 miles or something, way outside of his district. Then he bought some kind of a decent vehicle with cash. Then he went to a nice hotel and rented the hotel or something with cash. The person who rented him the hotel room told the police, this guy came in, he's got a ton of cash, I think something's wrong. The guy who sold him the car said, this guy bought a car from me, all cash, very suspicious. The guy, the cab driver said, I just dropped this guy off here at this place, very weird, paid me in cash, over 50 or 100 miles into my cab, very strange. Like everybody called the authorities. Like everybody told on you. That was like...
Yeah, they ain't smart, man.
They're all snitching.
The whole country's terrified.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
That's the kind of country that we need to be.
Oh my God!
I mean, what are the crime levels over there compared?
Probably
There's no
low.
crime. There's almost
zero
no crime.
And
well, then the process works. No,
it does.
Yeah, if there is a crime, it only happens once.
And how many people are in China?
Law-abiding citizens.
Is it
Maybe
like,
you can find that, Jordan.
Is it like 3 billion or 2 billion or something?
Look,
like that?
if you have to blow a couple fraudsters' brains out.
This is not going how I want
prove
it
a point.
To prove a point, 1.4 billion.
What'd I say, 3?
And 1.302 are law-abiding citizens.
How many lives are you saving? Like, look at all the violence and murders and deaths we have in America every day. How many? I mean, there's got to be
how this is going.
There's got to be thousands of
people shooting up schools, little children, and
I mean,
a few years in the can.
Listen,
maybe if we were a little bit stricter and had a little bit more, we enforce a little bit more discipline on our citizens.
Oh my God!
We wouldn't have all these fucked up problems in our country.
Well, they want to lock them up for the money. We got to bring the chair back.
You do understand that we have
back?
1% of our entire population is incarcerated. 1%. You understand we have the largest.
That's what I'm saying.
Capita.
Don't lock them up. Kill them.
I'm sure like
tombstone.
People with DUIs, kill them.
Not DUI. Maybe
people get into fist fights, kill them. people that
Stealing golf carts.
by the way,
Adios, pal.
by the way, drugs. Drugs.
Oh yeah, they don't play with drugs.
No,
Dead.
drugs should be legalized.
No,
Drugs should be legal.
No, kill them.
No, we need to
Kill 'em.
We need to legalize all guns.
Just like China. Listen, don't worry. 50 years.
I mean, not guns. We need to legalize. Yeah, we need to legalize guns, and we need to legalize all drugs. But if you go and shoot somebody and kill somebody,
these guys didn't
You're
kill
done.
anybody. They took some money.
or if you rob a bank, you're done. Or if you commit credit card fraud or mortgage fraud, you're dead.
I disagree.
Off with your head.
I disagree. What's the next topic for the on the agenda?
How would the country? Don't you think China's winning though as a country?
Yes.
They're definitely winning.
Well,
Look, they have rules for people who use social media. If you're under 18, you can't scroll on TikTok and Instagram past 10 o'clock. After that, it's all educational content. They want to educate their populace.
I think China has some issues, major issues.
What's their worst issue?
Well, I think like right now they keep talking about listen, like Boziak and I go back and forth on this all the time. They're going to invade Taiwan. They're going to invade. I'm like, no, they're not. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. No, their economy is starting to implode. They're having major problems. You don't start a war in the middle of
You really think it'll be a war?
Well, yeah, because I do think that
Or
the
will it be
United
more like Russia taking over Ukraine?
I do think that the United States would probably. I mean, Biden has repeatedly said that he would back up, Taiwan. Like I think it's very. Listen, he's a decrepit old man. He's fallen apart, but he is sending over tons of weapons and money to the Ukrainians.
Right. Billions and billions.
Right.
And billions.
Like he probably would back up. Like you can't let China invade Taiwan. Plus the Taiwanese, they know they've been coming forever. Like would China be able to take it? Probably. But honestly, it's going to be one hell of a bloodbath. Like this whole little tiny country is set up for an invasion. Like it's vicious. Like, I mean, they've got everything is mined. They've got tons of anti-aircraft, weapons. They've been being trained by the United States this entire time. Like
who has the Taiwanese?
The Taiwanese.
Have they really?
Yeah, and they've got two. There's only twice a year when they can really kind of launch an invasion. Would China ultimately overpower them? Yes, probably. But then again, China has the same kind of problems Russia has. Like they don't have really their standing army. There's a ton of corruption. Their standing army, they don't really have like the U.S. where they have like career military men go in and stay forever. Like most guys are conscripted for 2 years. They get back out. They're not trained very well. Their pilots aren't super trained. They don't spend a lot of time in the air. They don't have the ability to move all of their forces. Like, they don't have like the troop transports. But then again, Taiwan's not that far, So, but also their whole economy is having a real problem right now. Like they're about to be in one of the biggest bankruptcies in their
China.
Yeah.
Why?
So if I understand it right,
I don't know anything about economics or money.
Well, if I understand it right, and I might get it a little bit off, but basically what they did was like something like 90% of their society it's rural. Right,
it's rural.
It's they're like farm.
Rural.
Oh,
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yes.
I said rural.
I thought you said rural.
So it's like they're like farmers. So a lot of people, most people in China, like they're born on a farm or in a small town. They never really leave that small town, and they kind of die in that small town. Well, because China's trying to grow.
Kind of like Shane. He grew up here and he'll die here.
But he gets around more than these guys.
I didn't grow up here.
And they have access to he has access to the internet, so he's more worldly.
Oh yeah.
So
all he uses the internet for is sports betting.
So what the Chinese did,
the good stuff.
Like I want to say like in the 2008 financial crisis, like during that time period, like whatever 15 years ago, that what they started doing was they started supplementing developers to start building more and more residential communities near like the cities, and the government was backing mortgages, so people in these little towns could move to the city, so the whole place could become more industrialized, right? Mm-hmm. So now these people are coming to the city. Well, they start filling up the cities, and that's why you have these mega cities, right? But you understand that most of those cities are in between some of these cities are 40 up to 44%, they're 45% vacant. Like they're calling them ghost cities and ghost towns. Like you go in these towns and like there's just all these houses that are just empty.
How is that possible with almost 2 billion people?
Well, because the people are still they're still on the farms.
It's a big country.
They've paid or they've given some money to this massive construction company to build them a house. But one of the things that the construction company was doing, and then they would get a mortgage that was subsidized by the government, and then they could move there, but there were supposed to be jobs, but there's no jobs. So what's happening is there's all these places getting built, and they're never being sold. But the people are putting money down. So unlike in the United States, they were taking a lot of these down payments and using it to build other things. So this, and then at about 5 or 6 years ago,
Wait, you're going too fast. The government's taking the down payments.
This is the company, this huge, massive construction company.
They were taking the down payments.
Yes,
Okay.
a developer. Let's say.
Got
It's
it.
not- It's a developer. They've
I'm
got
with you.
lots of construction companies underneath them. So what happens is about 5 or 6 years ago, I can never say the Chinese leader's name. Ching Chang Tang, whatever. What's his name? The president of China.
No idea.
Ling Tao, whatever. Anyway.
Jiang Qing.
Okay. So he basically a few years ago said, look, we're not going to keep subsidizing this whole thing. Xi Ling, or I forget. He basically a few years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, he said, we're not going to keep backing this up.
Yeah.
We're not going to keep giving you money for the mortgages and do all this. Because they knew a lot of these cities are being built that nobody's there. And there's no jobs. And so these guys aren't coming. So they started taking in foreign investor money to keep building. So this company keeps doing this, and what's ended up happening is, I think it was last quarter, which was a few months ago, that for the first time ever, they missed their quarterly interest payment to their overseas investors.
Who are their overseas investors?
Well, I don't know I don't have a list or anything, but that was the first time. And that means that now their second investment, or second one's coming due. They're saying they're going to miss that. They said at that point, most likely there's going to be some kind of a forced bankruptcy, and they said it will be the largest bankruptcy in China history. The other problem is all of these bullet trains that they were building in China, it's the same thing. Investors and the Chinese government has dumped a ton of money into these things, and although they're amazing, nobody's, first of all, COVID was an issue, but nobody's taking the trains. And now the other issue is the trains aren't going to places that have anybody living there. So you've got a high ticket train that nobody's paying for. They're 20 or 30% of what they should have been. And the foreign investors and the Chinese investors are pissed off. Like, they're just now starting to have these major problems. So your whole economy's on the verge of really starting to have a recession. You don't start invading other countries. Like, you've got a problem.
Right.
If things go bad, look, China only didn't go under in 91 when Russia when the Soviet Union broke apart. They didn't go under because in Tiananmen Square, when they were holding their, these large demonstrations where they were saying we want to be a democracy, the Chinese actually fired on their own people. Most of the countries that broke away from the Soviet Union, they wouldn't. The military wouldn't fire on them when they were saying, "Look, clear out the square, get all these people that are protesting, get rid of them." Like the Russians wouldn't fire on them. Like they're like, "Look, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to fight. These are." I understand that they want to be their own country, but I'm not going to fire on these people. They're Russians. Like they're
Right.
not. It'd be like the U.S. military.
Or in the Ukraine that happened too. There's a couple coups in the Ukraine.
Right. Like, you really think, no matter how big the riot is, do you think that the government, that our soldiers would show up knowing what's happening and they'd say, listen, we want you to start mowing down these people that are holding signs? Like, they'd be like,
No, it would be
yeah,
CIA.
bro, I'm not going to do that.
CIA would.
I don't know about all that, but I just know that I think that the American soldier is going to be like, yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Nah.
Like,
Bustamante, ask him, he'd have a different opinion.
he wouldn't. Bustamante's not going to mow anybody down. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he would kill for his government if they wanted.
I'm
to.
sure would he kill American citizens,
Yes.
though?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely.
I'm calling him. Let's call him.
Call him up.
I'll call him right now. We're calling Bustamante right now. No
Call him
way.
up. Don't call him.
I am calling
Don't
him.
bother him. He's got kids.
Oh. But you just said call him. I mean, I'm ready.
I thought about it again. We shouldn't call him. We shouldn't
Okay.
bother him.
Yeah. Listen, he's not.
You know what he said? You know what he was interesting? You know how everyone's really worried about like the nuclear button with Russia? Like Russia sending nukes and the US sending nukes back and forth, nuclear holocaust and all this stuff. Well, the process of firing off a nuke in Russia is completely different than it is in the United States. In the United States, the president has all that power.
Right.
Like Trump could have made the decision. Like, okay. Like
Let's do it.
He could do it.
Yeah.
Putin can't do that.
Really?
No, there's generals. There's a bunch of generals that each have their own. They each make the call themselves. Like he has to ask the general to do it, and then the general, it's his decision. Putin alone can't make that decision.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it has to go through a bunch of these like
I
5-star
just figured
generals.
Putin could say, "Boom, do it, fire him." No.
Nope.
I'll have to. That's something
Here,
I'll look up.
I'm gonna send you a link to a video, Jordan, and you can.
I was gonna say I'm looking that up tomorrow.
You
on
can
YouTube.
post this. This is great. He went on Julian Dory's podcast.
Oh
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
just like you did.
Yeah, Julian's great. I'm going on again.
That's the only time you can intercept it because the missile moves fast.
He does a bunch of really good. So how do I send you this link?
It's on YouTube.
It's on Instagram. Link. I'm gonna text it to you. Oh wait, can you pull up your texts? You probably can't pull them up on the computer. You'll figure it out.
Send it to me and then I'll
You'll find it. I just texted it to you. But yeah, I thought that was pretty fucking insane. Woo! It's Juneteenth.
I know.
Happy Juneteenth. How was your piss?
refreshing. Ready for more liquid death?
Ready for another bump of this stuff?
Nah, not really. Shit lit me up. Started giving me the chills.
Woo! This is the Juneteenth Matt Cox edition. What are you doing? Who are you texting?
I'm telling him that because I did call him, it went through.
Did he text
I hung
you?
up on him. No, I'm just telling him, hey, we're doing a podcast. We were going to call you, but we decided against it. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, well, tell him we didn't want to bother him because
Yeah.
he has kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You find it?
No.
Oh, come on.
You smell it?
You can do
Yeah.
it. Just look up Julian Dory
It really
on Instagram.
It really makes me think of chlorine.
Yeah.
JULINDOREY on Instagram. It's like his.
Did you see? Hey, listen.
It is his second to last post.
Julian does amazing little.
go.
What are they called? YouTube.
This is it right
stories?
here. The one that says crazy.
Stories.
Watch.
Yeah, he does
Crank
great
the-
clips.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
he's a good clip guy.
He does great clips.
Motherfucker.
What?
You gotta be logged in to watch it.
Log in.
Maybe you can go on his TikTok. Search TikTok Julian Dory.
Does he have a TikTok?
Oh yeah, he's big on TikTok. There you go. First link. That one.
I saw
We
this.
need volume.
The way that the military is structured in Russia,
All right, refresh it.
commanders have independent jurisdiction.
There you go.
If Putin did go crazy and decided to launch a nuclear missile, it still might not actually happen because
The way that the military is structured in Russia, the commanders have independent jurisdiction over the missile they command.
really in Russia,
In the United States, it's not like that.
really
In the United States, the president says launch, he gives a code, and
Done.
everybody launches. In Russia, he says launch, and each individual commander has to say launch.
which means that if the CIA were running an intelligence assessment and determined that
99% of commanders would not take the order. That might be all the United States needs to be like, well, let's go in and take out Putin.
if Putin did go crazy and this
How crazy! It's crazy how fucking calm he is about talking about this stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's just so like calm.
He's great.
and relaxed.
I'm worried about his hair. It's really puffy.
Oh, he looks like Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, it's.
He does.
Yeah, Julian has great clips. Great
he does,
clips.
man. He
Yeah,
spends a
he
lot
puts
of
a lot of
time
time
doing
in that.
those. Yeah, those clips are fucking little miniature movies. They're great.
Yeah. I have. I told you I started a clips channel and
Oh yeah, I
And
subscribed to it. I was your first subscriber.
Nice.
You're welcome.
And a TikTok one too, and like my subs of, like it was down to like I was getting like 1,000 subs a month, and now it's up to like two and a half.
yeah.
Like it's coming up. Like I'm almost. At 50.
What's happening? Your subscribers on your main channel are growing.
Jumped. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Even my TikTok with my knockoff soft white underbelly. It's called Inside the Darkness. Remember, my TikTok already has like almost 3,000. I just started putting them
way.
out. Yeah, it's crazy.
My TikTok's at like 100.
Wait, I mean, I post like once a day.
Do you really?
Yeah.
So what is it? What are you posting on there?
I'm posting the interviews of these guys. Like I do like an hour or 30-minute, whatever the interview is, and then I just take it and I cut it up. I'll find like some of these guys say crazy stuff.
What is the name of your TikTok? He'll pull it up.
It's called Inside the Darkness. It's,
Inside the Darkness TikTok.
Inside period darkness. Inside period the period darkness. But
And it's just like soft white underbelly.
it's you called it a discount soft white underbelly, which is accurate, but still it hurt.
Did it hurt really?
No, it didn't. I started laughing immediately. I said, that's perfect. You summed it up.
It's the fucking dollar store soft white underbelly.
Yeah. Oh, and listen, I got this kid named Gunner who's running. This is a soft one. This is
There it
Wow,
is.
you already got 3,000 followers.
so. This is this one, but I have another one too, which is the other one I have is called Matthew Cox Crime. That thing's got like 22,000 or
What?
yeah. This kid started running it for me like 2 months ago. No, 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Spelled Matthew wrong, I think.
Miss Matthew.
Matthew. Cox.
Crime.
Crime.
Oh,
You still didn't. You
there you
put
go. There it is. Top
There
one.
is.
Top one.
Yeah.
So this.
What is it?
some kid just-
23,000 followers.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah.
Are you making money on this? Can you make money on
No,
TikTok?
you can after 10,000 followers. You can monetize, but the kid Gunner was like, nah. He said, I've heard mixed things, and it's just you just don't make enough to make it worth it. He said, let's just keep going. And this is really boosted. This is doubled, almost tripled my subscribers per month
Damn.
On Instagram or on YouTube?
on YouTube.
What?
Yeah, because there's a button.
Jones is seeing dollar signs.
Yeah, there's a button for my YouTube. There's a button somewhere over here.
Probably got a lot.
Watch one of it. What's your most viewed one on here? Let's find out your.
Oh,
most
one of
viewed
them's got like
12,000.
No, one of them.
37,000.
96,500.
No, one of them's got 600,000. 500, 600,000. Can you sort it?
I don't believe so.
Nah.
Yeah, it's got.
This guy's got it. Look at his thumbnails with the arrows.
He's amazing.
Look, that's me
that's 192,
on the very right. Click on that one. Yeah.
14.
Oh, this was from our first podcast.
Damn, that's throwback.
Yeah, he cut up a bunch of them. It's got here, I'll tell you right now.
Look at that green curtain. This was 3 years ago.
Damn.
This guy's killing it. Hunter. Shout out to Hunter.
No, Gunner. Oh,
Gunner,
here it is.
Gunner.
Look, that's the one.
What a cool
It's
name, Gunner.
Fucking A. It's got 561,000.
Damn.
Top
Which one
right.
does?
Top right.
Oh, the top left. Okay. Wow.
561,000. So that's
Damn,
one.
son.
But yeah, 23,000. Like this kid, listen, you know what it had when he started? I think about 6 weeks ago.
Gunner, hook me up.
He had 300.
Nice.
He had what?
Killing it.
I had 300
300
followers.
How much are you paying him?
We'll talk about it.
You're not paying him, are you?
What are you talking about? He's
You're not
amazing.
paying Gunner.
What are you doing? What are you doing? We're talking.
Well, he's worth a fortune, whatever you're paying
He's
him.
doing great. These are great.
That's badass.
This
guy.
guy.
I need
boosted,
Gunner.
bro.
You do need Gunner.
Gunner's
Yep.
a sick name.
It's going to
too.
cost you now,
Yeah,
Jones.
Gunner's expensive, but yeah,
Yeah.
Gunner's worth it. He's amazing, bro. Listen,
Hey, I was thinking I'm gonna
22,000.
I'm thinking I was
in
going to name
6 weeks.
my new kid. I'm going to name him Ripsaw.
We're not chainsaw.
Ripsaw.
Why Ripsaw?
I don't know. I heard that name the other day. It sounded pretty cool.
Wife would never let it.
Ripsaw. Ripsaw Jones.
I
Is that
mean,
good?
I
Bushwhacker
think you
Jones
should
hits
talk.
better.
I think you should talk to your wife. What else is on your agenda?
That's it.
Man, I heard, over the weekend I heard you on the radio 3 times. 3 fucking times.
On serious.
on
serious.
ESPN radio. They must have the contract with Title Lock. I'm riding in the truck and I'm listening to this like sports, and I hear this guy talking. I'm like, fucking Matt? And then I hear the Title Lock guy come on. I said, no shit.
Fucking Matt
On
Cox.
ESPN radio.
He's everywhere, bro. You were in the halfway house 2.5 years ago. Now you're
Fucking
all
on ESPN.
Right? Listen,
How crazy
You know
is
what's
Honestly,
so funny?
I was riding thinking about it. I'm like, holy fuck, this is ESPN radio.
Listen, you know what's so funny is that I'll be doing a podcast about fraud, and guys are leaving comments saying, "Do you realize that that all the commercials are from banks and mortgage companies on that they're advertising on my
Yeah.
podcast?" Or
What a 360.
yeah, exactly. So this is the
what
home
a
title line.
180.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
I'm
yes.
going to New York in like 2 weeks. I told you. I mean, I can't say for who, but I'm
Yeah.
going there to be filmed for a thing for a
Big fancy production.
yeah, like
big
a
shots.
documentary type thing.
Fucking awesome.
It's right. Listen, you know, it always sounds better than it is. You know,
No,
I'm
but
still
the
struggling.
the journey is you've come a long way, man.
I've
A long way.
The Matthew Cox come up.
listen, and you know, listen, and every time I'll tell you right now, it was Danny's fucking bullshit saying, "Well, I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking about. I'm on the phone with you. I'm thinking
Fucking
about.
do it.
I'd like to do some kind of maybe a true crime. Can I talk to you? And he immediately scams me. Thank God he scammed me. He's like, well, you know, the best way for you to figure out whether people are interested or not is to come on my thing and come on my podcast and tell your story. It's like, I don't know. And then I go and I do it, and it
Shit
like
changed.
blows up and changes everything. It's like,
we're
because
interested.
even when he said it, I was thinking, this dude's scamming me. He just wants me to come
Fucking
and tell a
scam.
story. And I was like, I'll do it. He has answered a lot of questions. I mean, he's answered every taken all my calls, returned all my emails, texted me. I was like, he's really
And
gone
you're
out.
in the fucking halfway house, no less.
And so as soon as I get out, he says, hey, I haven't put anything up in like 2 weeks. You got to come now. I answered your questions. You got to come. Like, he dropped all pretense of being a nice guy. Listen, I was like, okay. And I thought,
That phone call was literally our podcast that day bailed.
yeah.
I
Oh,
mean-
yeah. That's right. And
I need that guy rescheduled.
Yeah,
and
I
I was
came
like,
right then,
I need
though.
somebody. I was like,
Did I
was
come
like,
that night?
Call Matt Cox right now, and you came. Yeah.
Yeah, because I figured this guy's going to stop answering questions. Like, he's been really good with explaining things to me. And then I came and I did the thing, and it was great. And then I was like, hey, let's do a true crime podcast. He was like, I don't know. Let me think about it. And then it never happened. Still,
Worked out.
Hey,
it still worked out. Yeah, no,
Look at you now.
absolutely. Absolutely. No, good times. We'll see what happens. It seems, listen, everybody I know right now, the doctor said to say hi.
Oh, hey, doctor. Too bad this isn't live. We'd get a nice donation.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, right? Yeah, I'll explain the whole gunner and the doctor and the whole this. And
He knows the doctor?
Oh no, he's orchestrating all. Listen, this dude's doing all kinds of stuff for me.
What?
He's amazing. I can't
Damn.
tell you. I don't want to jinx it.
Can you tell me off air?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good.
So,
Hell yeah.
but like him, like I've got like 5 or 6 guys that are like in the know, and all of them are like, bro, you understand? Like, you were on the cusp of something really happening. Like, all these things are about to happen, and I'm like, yeah, I felt like that for about 2 years. And they're like, well, it's close, and everybody, Jess, everybody's like, I'm telling you, like, I feel like something's about to blow up. And I'm like,
Hell yeah,
I
it's
mean,
gonna.
it would be nice.
Don't forget about your friends down here at
Hat
Koncrete
rack.
when that happens.
I'll be shouting out every time. I'll be on Joe Rogan. Like, I gotta say hi to Danny and Hat Rack.
Hell yeah.
Before I forget about him next month, one last shout out.
Yeah. Good times.
Hey, are we gonna call the Emperor?
I mean, you can call him.
So what is
like,
the deal with him? What's the story with the Emperor?
Okay.
Last time we talked, you thought he got arrested.
I thought he got arrested, but he didn't. He
For
didn't get
people who
arrested.
don't know, the Emperor, who is the Emperor?
I mean, Frank Amadeo.
Frank Amadeo.
Frank
Who
Amadeo.
is- what's his condition?
He's a rapid cycling bipolar with features of schizophrenia.
Right.
And he believes, since he was very young, he has believed that God is telling him he will be emperor of the world, which is an odd thing to hear. Unfortunately, he's also a lawyer and extremely competent, and has tried to mount a coup in the Congo. There's a documentary about that called 9 Days in the Congo. He was convicted for stealing defrauding the federal government out of $180 million. It actually, the number's closer to 200 million, but that's what he pled guilty to. And he eventually, literally, I got pictures of him with Bush. He was one of the financial backers of the NATO summit in Latvia. He owned several companies that were security companies that did security consulting and guarded like food trucks and stuff in Afghanistan. So he had a ton of, I think it was like 40,000 employees. He has just a ton. It was like $500 million in revenue. He had a bunch of companies. So eventually he gets in trouble with the government. They according to him, really not even according to him, honestly, according to all the paperwork, even the government admits they drugged him, like he was drugged. They convinced him to plead guilty.
What kind of drugs? Like MK Ultra type deal?
No, like Thorazine, like ridiculous amounts of just like, he's like drooling during his sentencing. he's completely out of it.
Thorazine? What was it called?
Thorazine.
Thorazine.
Yeah, it's like a downer. Like it's an antipsychotic.
You got his spidey senses tingling over there. Is it like a Vicodin?
That sounds
on
way
steroids.
better.
It's bad. It's something you get into
is it kind of like what's that?
What's Super Xanax.
What's your favorite drug that you love? Fentanyl. It's like fentanyl.
No,
man.
No, that would jack him.
That's a painkiller.
No.
Okay, it's not like fentanyl.
No. So anyway, he eventually pleads guilty, thinking he's going to get a few years, and really, honestly, just drugged out of his mind. The government, he's a ward of the state. Like basically, he's certifiably like insane. Like he has a guardian. Like he can't sign a check. He's got they've got him. He's got a legal guardian. His rights were taken away. So he pleads guilty. He gets sentenced. They give him 22 years. I go to prison. I meet him. I'm in trouble. I got 26 years. He handles my case because he is a lawyer. Handles my case. He ends up filing 2 2255s. He gets 7 years knocked off my sentence the first time, 5 years knocked off my sentence the second time. He eventually gets himself out of prison. Yes, please. He gets himself out of prison on COVID, so he's out.
Yeah.
And I found out why
he's out on COVID.
He's out on okay. So
COVID
that's
release.
And like that's what they all call him. Like you get out. Oh, I got out on COVID. But there's a technical at his age and with his his
health.
Yeah. It's dangerous for him to be in prison because COVID is rampant in prison. So they let him out, put him on an ankle monitor. He starts working.
Doing what?
Unfortunately, I believe there were 2 law firms that he was consolidating, and he started buying up other companies that were failing, or he was doing some kind of consulting for companies that were failing. Essentially, very similar to what he was doing the first time. Mm-hmm. It's my understanding, my very limited understanding of what happened. But what ends up happening is his release gets violated. He goes back to jail. He's held in jail for, I want to say, 4 months. Never filed a reason why. Finally, they go in front of the government, in front of the judge. He finally forces the Bureau or the Justice Department to bring him back in front of the judge and says, "Why did you violate me? Why am I in custody?" Mm-hmm. They said, "We heard that he was suspected of committing a crime." What crime? Where's the evidence?
Yeah.
The judge said, "Look." Oh, and they also said he left the jurisdiction without permission. So they said, "Great. Where's the evidence?" The judge said, "You got 10 days." 10 days later, they still hadn't provided it. The judge says, "Okay, you got 10 more days." Still, like a month later, they still never were able to provide anything that they said they violated enforcement. The judge said, "You got to let him out."
Yep.
What are you doing? So they let him out, And he got back out, and I thought he had re-violated because I know someone who is in communication with him, and she had told me, I haven't heard from him in weeks, I think he may have been re-violated because they have it out for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I texted his attorney, and his attorney said, nope, still out. He's doing fine. You could call him if you want or text him or whatever. Here's his phone number and everything. I was like, yeah, but I didn't. If you want to.
Can we call him on your phone? Because does he know your number?
He doesn't know my number.
Okay,
I've
well,
never
let's call
texted
him. I'm going to connect my phone to the speakers right now. And we're going to fucking do it, Matt. It's going to take me a second. Dun, 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 dun. We're getting ready to call the Emperor. What if we got the Emperor on the podcast, bro? How insane would that be?
I'ma
Hello?
Big voice message system 40740.
Oh, he texted me. Sorry, I can't talk right now.
Bit too busy.
Can I?
Too busy taking over the
Let
world.
me make sure I call the right number. What should I say?
I would say that I'm doing a podcast right now, and we're discussing your story, and would love to know it. I would love for you to chime in.
Crazy shit, Frank Amadeo. Hopefully we can get him on here soon. So what's going on with the economy right now, Matt?
What do you do? I don't know. We had this conversation.
But you're the shark in the housing pool. You're supposed to know about the housing market.
I mean, my understanding is just, but all I know is from listening to, people that I know that are real estate agents and listening to, same stuff you hear is it's just like the amount of houses that are on the market. Remember, there was like no houses on the market. As soon as it came on the market, it sold. Like now, the inventory is like growing and growing and growing. They said the last 3 months, they said the inventory is just outrageous. Like their houses are
Everyone's trying to
Everybody's
sell
selling.
because they think the market's going to tank. Is that
Right.
why?
No, because
Well-
they're paying so good.
Well, I think it was a seller's market before, right? Where
Yeah.
if you were a seller, but now I think that the buyers are just starting to dry up. And is it, and look,
But
everything.
why?
I mean, I think that it's just that because everything's so expensive because of inflation and everything's getting so expensive. Like if you thought, hey, I have all this extra money, I can go buy a house, I can spend a little bit more, I have more money on a down payment. Like none of that's possible anymore. Like in the last 3 months.
Because the interest rates are so high, 6%.
Well, no,
I think
the-
the average is 6% now.
Well, yeah, but it's not that. They're doing that to try and slow the economy down. Like
So
they're
they're-
trying to slow it down because it was growing so fast, but they should have been doing that 2 years ago.
Why? Now, I don't understand this shit at all. Why would they try to be slowing it down?
Because they know that there's a bubble that's going to happen. They know it's going to pop and it's going to be a crash. So they're like they don't want it to keep growing. So
Why do you want to stop people from buying houses and taking out mortgages?
Well, you want to at least slow it down, not stop it. If they want to stop it, they'd make it 18%. They just want to slow it down.
Slow down.
It's getting too much. And they're
What
trying-
happens if it keeps going at the same rate, at the same fast rate? I don't understand. How does that get bad? You got a bunch of homeowners. Why is that a bad thing?
Well, because eventually when the market crashes, because look, at this point, all the money that they've dumped into the economy, it's now starting to take effect, right? Like you're starting to have serious inflation. And this is serious inflation. Like I buy TV dinners. They're $3.41, 42, 45 cents.
Do you really?
I used to buy, yeah,
Lean cuisine,
absolutely.
You eat lean cuisine?
I love lean cuisine.
What kind?
lasagna.
Aren't there
No,
different
I
flavors?
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, there's
I don't-
there's one flavors.
Which one do you eat?
It's
Pork and
it's
beans.
I think it's turkey with a
Pull
apple
a picture of this
spices.
shit up.
Apple spices? Is it
Turkey
chicken?
with apple spices,
Yeah.
lean
It's
cuisine.
delicious.
I gotta see what the fuck this looks like.
You ever saw a lean cuisine?
Yeah, and like
It's
a,
a microwavable meal.
You know
that's
what they
what
are
Al
now?
Bundy would eat.
Listen, they were
Nah,
they
Albany
were
ain't eating no
$3
lean
and like 45 cents. They're now like $4.60.
This
Yeah,
is what
that's
you
it.
fucking eat.
I
Matt?
love these things. Are you serious?
Oh my god! Pull up the nutritional facts of this shit.
I'm hungry as hell.
I made ribs tonight.
Where
on my
can I
Traeger.
buy these for $3? It says $3.04. I don't know where they're
Walmart.
buying
You got to shop
Walmart.
online, man.
Oh yeah.
$3.14 at Walmart, bud.
Oh, listen, they're $4 and something at like $4.50, $4.60 at Publix. It's
Oh, that's
outrageous.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Publix
it's
is
Everything's
highway
out.
robbery.
Yeah, but I mean, everything is shooting through the roof.
Gas.
So why is the price? Are the prices of all this shit shooting through the roof? Like why? Because the mortgage? Because of mortgages?
No.
Why?
Because they dump so much money into the economy.
The Fed did. They dumped.
Yes.
And when you say dumping money in the economy, you mean sending people the fucking Trump checks,
Right. All the checks, the Trump checks, and then of course Biden released some. Didn't
Biden did Trump checks?
Yeah, I think
he
didn't
didn't do
Trump
the
do
check.
2, and then didn't Biden do 1?
Maybe.
Plus all the PPP loans, plus all of the. Now we're going to pay you $600 a week to stay home. You
So
know,
all these people having money
right?
caused inflation.
Where they caused them to go out and buy more stuff.
Right.
Right. So they bought more stuff. So inventory goes down. So the guy who's
Okay,
So
inventory
then they
goes
go
down.
out. They go out and they produce they produce more stuff and they raise their prices
Because everyone's just buying.
because they're buying. So what do we do to slow it down? We raise. We're not charging enough. We're running out of sodas. Charge more for sodas. It'll slow the process down, and we'll make even more money for what we're doing anyway.
But then the government starts sending people all the money, and then their prices are still high on the lean cuisines.
Right, and they're still buying, and then at some point it becomes.
But what?
too
How many?
expensive.
How much shit are you gonna buy with $1,400? Like,
It doesn't. I mean, they're still buying. It doesn't matter. They also made car loans extremely. Remember, car loans in the middle of in the middle of the pandemic are like. They're like 0%, 1%.
they're giving everybody a car.
They're giving everybody a car. They lowered the guidelines for what you had to qualify, how much the down payment. Well, like anybody could get a car.
Hell yeah.
I just got out of a halfway house and I got a car. You know, like you're giving, like I've got like 8 months worth of credit. You're going to give me
What's your
like
credit score?
100%. At that point, it was
Now.
high as, now 735.
damn, Matt.
Out of the halfway, it was 750 something. But I
Damn.
still only had like 6 months worth of credit.
Right.
I got 6 months worth of credit and no job and barely have a job at all.
Now you
Just
got
give
what?
me a car
You
loan.
got 3 years worth of credit now, and you still got a 775. You said?
Yeah, but I'm kind of living off some of the credit cards now. Where before I didn't have anything on the credit cards. So, so you have your capacity is higher. Anyway, the point is that at some point, all that money and all the things getting charged more and more and more, are getting more and more expensive. At some point, it just can't keep going. And
Right.
they stopped giving you free money.
Right.
So what's happening is everything is suddenly about to just say, like, first of all, house prices. That's a perfect example.
What's up, world? You just watched a clip from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes. That's right, you can get weekly, pure, uncut content straight from the jungles of Colombia. If you want to watch the full episode, make sure you go to patreon.com/concretevideos. Peace.